Tonight on Golf Central, will world number one find his form? Can Jordan Spieth separate himself from the field? Or will Phil follow Brady and Belichick and become a five-time champion at Pebble?
From waves crashing to sun-drenched skies, Pebble Beach is paradise, especially for the game's greats. From Jack to Tom to Tiger, don't miss the best major moments at this venerable venue.
Speaking of major greats, who would you take, Jack or Tiger in their prime? The fireworks fly in an all-new alternate shot. That and more on Golf Central, which starts now.
Golf Central. Brought to you by Titleist.
We do have some breaking news into Golf Channel. World number one Lydia Ko has made it official, announcing Gary Gilchrist as her full-time swing coach. Ko parted ways with former coach David Ledbetter back in December. Then on January 17th, GolfChannel.com's Randall Mel reported that Gilchrist and Ko were working together, but at the time, Ko was not ready to make it official. Today, that changed, and Gilchrist now coaches the number one player in the world and world number two, Ariya Jutanugarn. I caught up with Ko's new swing coach just moments ago.
I've known her for a long time, since she first came. And, you know, when she first came to the U.S., she went and spent time with David, and then I spent a day with her. And after seeing me, I got a phone call and said, you know, when she comes back from Korea, she would love to come and spend some time with me.
So when you first saw her hit golf balls, and I'm sure, look, you've paid attention to her for a long time, what's one of the things that really stood out to you?
Oh, well, she's such a dedicated, focused player. You know, she knows her strengths. And, you know, for me it was great because it's kind of an honor to be able to, you know, teach somebody like this because, you know, it goes both ways. You learn from each other. And she's got a fantastic personality for the game, and I think she's one of the best players who can handle any type of pressure, especially under, you know, the circumstances, playing at a level at 19 years old as number one in the world.
It's obvious that the short game is always there. The mental side of the game is always there. It's amazing at her age. As far as ball striking, golf swing, what are some specifics that you would like to see her improve?
Well, I think the biggest challenge has been a change in her putter, irons, and her driver. So, you know, been working on making her more comfortable. And like with the swing, it's like you know, everybody has their tendencies, and you know, sometimes she gets the club a little bit behind her because she's not really an aggressive player. Like Ariya, she goes at it hard. You know, she's more of a technician and a swinger of the club. So we've been trying to get the club a little bit more in front of her and get her to load into her right side and then turn through into her left side. Pretty simple.
What about for you personally? There's always talk about instructors working with top-ranked players like Lydia, like Ariya. Obviously, the success you've had with Ariya over last season. What's that pressure like, having to deal with that and dealing with the media and the analysis of that?
Well, for me, I just, you know, loved coaching and teaching. And, you know, I love the challenge of helping and supporting them. I mean, the biggest thing that I love doing is making golf fun for them. And when they come out to me, you know, we work on the full swing, and then I make practice fun, challenging. And so when they leave, it's like, okay, I've accomplished the little things that are going to make me better. When it comes to performance in the media, you know, you have to take the good with the bad.
You have Lydia and Ariya. What's the dynamic of working with the top two ranked players in the world?
Well, if they play poorly, they can blame it on me. How's that? It's fantastic to see, you know, the youngest players come through. And then it's fantastic to watch the older professionals on the tour work harder at their games to come out here and compete at that level.
Well, Gary, congratulations. I've been fortunate to spend some time with you, and I know that this is an exciting moment for you.
Thank you very much.
Here's just a little background on Gary Gilchrist. He has coached 75 AJGA All-Americans, 6 Players of the Year, 2 U.S. AM champs, and you can see that name right there. One of the past pupils includes Michelle Wie. So I guess we can officially welcome you. Great to have you with us tonight on Golf Central. Lisa Cornwell, Trip Eisenhower, Matt Adams, and Todd Lewis will join us in just a moment. But right now we're still focusing on Lydia Ko. Look, you told me before the show started that you really think that this is a good move for her.
I do, no question about it. I think Gary Gilchrist is, I don't think he's underrated. I think everybody knows about him. He's got a great stable of players. The other thing, too, is his method of teaching. It's very simple. He goes about changes and incremental. He doesn't try to overhaul someone right away. He does little things one by one. And let's face it, Lydia Ko, he doesn't have to touch her short game. He doesn't have to touch her putting. She is so fantastic on and around the greens and with her wedges. Her long game has suffered, though. She's gotten shorter off the tee. She's gotten more crooked, and she's hit less greens than she has in her career. So there is some work to do. The good news is she kind of started some of this work late last year, so maybe his book, if you will, that he's got to throw at her is not as big as it would be. Lydia Ko's a fast learner, too. You don't get where she's gotten and match and break all these records at the ages she has without being an exceptional student. He's got to be very excited. But if there's any questions about, you know, number one and number two, is there going to be anything? No. He's a great coach. He's going to teach each pupil differently, try to make each one their best. So this is a great move for Lydia Ko. I think she's going to have another fantastic year in 2017.
I know we're a little tight on time, so as we go to the top 5 in the world rankings, the Rolex World Rankings, we're going to look at that. Lydia Ko dominating that. Just quickly, she had gotten steep going back and kind of rerouted it. Was that part of the distance loss?
Yes, and she was also starting to hang on her left side, so she was kind of backing out of it, in particular with the driver, and that was causing a two-way miss. So I definitely think that Gary just said it. He said the things he's got to do, get her working into her right side a little better and getting her clearing. I think that's wonderful. Gary Gilchrist, she's in very good hands, world number 1 and world number 2, by the way.
And also world number 4. Shan Feng is another one of his pupils.
Yeah.
So what a stable of players he has. Okay, Trip, from one world number 1 to another, Jason Day. Hard to believe he missed the cut in his last appearance at Farmers. What do you expect from him this week at Pebble?
Well, this is a place he's had 5 top 15 finishes and 7 appearances. Nobody on the PGA Tour since the start of 2014-15 season has more wins. He has 8. Look, he struggled with his putter. He was struggling on the greens at Farmers. He had 34 and 32 putts respectively. Incredible misses from short distance. He was the best putter statistically ever as far as gaining strokes last season on the PGA Tour. No one had gained more than 1 stroke per round ever, going back to 2003 when they started this metric. Well, Jason Day did that. This is an anomaly. Don't worry about it. The greens at Pebble, a lot smaller. Now, there are some bumpy aspects to these greens, and Jason Day's not that bang-it-in type putter. His speed is usually very solid. So if there are any issues on the greens with that, it could be the bumpiness of a place like Monterey or Spyglass, but I think he'll putt Pebble's greens just fine. He has in the past.
Okay, we'll talk much more about former world number 1, Jordan Spieth, in just a minute right now. Look who's in the studio. Can you believe it? Todd Lewis making an appearance.
Oh, thank you very much, Lisa. Good to be here. Let's talk about Dustin Johnson. He arrives on the Monterey Peninsula, slipping in the latest official world golf ranking from number 3 to number 4. Johnson missing the cut in his last start, the Farmers Insurance Open, but he is a 2-time winner of the AT&T Pebble Beach National Pro-Am. So Johnson has the experience and firepower to win at Pebble. He's also in the field this week. Our Chantel McCabe is on the ground at Pebble Beach. She joins us now live. And Chantel, I guess if you're going to miss a cut and try to bounce back like Dustin Johnson's trying to do, why not do it at Pebble where he's had some success, right?
Of course. Well, Todd, it's not just those 2 wins back-to-back in 2009 and 2010, but the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. He has a total of 5 top 5 finishes. Now, you mentioned he's coming off of the missed cut at the Farmers Insurance Open, but he said his fond memories here at Pebble Beach are only going to help him have a successful week playing alongside his fiance's father, Wayne Gretzky.
I went back and worked on the game a little bit, but San Diego, I didn't feel like I was playing bad. I played pretty well. I just, struggled on the greens, and which is, unusual. I usually feel like I putt pretty well down in San Diego, but I had a tough time on the greens there. I felt like I played pretty well. The scores weren't very low. The first couple of days it was tough, but I just really struggled on the greens. But I went home, worked on the game a little bit. Played a lot of golf at Sherwood last week. Played a little bit with Wayne, and just kind of took it easy, had fun.
You've had an up-close and personal look to see how far Dustin has been able to rise in his game. After all of the success you've had, what does it mean to you to be able to see his journey to reach number 4 in the world?
Well, listen, to get to the elite level of professional golf, you got to be a good athlete and you got to work hard. And to become the champion he's become, he's put in all the effort and all the work and all the time. All the accolades that Dustin's getting now, he deserves full and 100%. He's just done a lot to get himself to the level that he's got himself to. So all the kudos goes to Dustin, and you know, we're so proud of him, and I think the future's even brighter.
Dustin Johnson will become world number 1 for the first time ever if he wins this event for the 3rd time, and only if Jason Day finishes below 52. And by the way, the weather here for everybody in the field is going to be something to deal with. Stuart Williams, the on-site meteorologist, said the last 2 months of rain are not going to set up for good conditions here. 0.4 inches today, and there were up to 54 miles of wind gusts today. And by the way, it's going to be rainy again tomorrow, and then another front comes through on Thursday. So this is going to be a very wet and soggy week here at Pebble Beach. Todd, back to you.
Chantel, we got to get you some Gore-Tex. Have a good week out there. Let's take a look at what Dustin Johnson has been doing since he's played his very first AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am back in 2008. Look at that, 75 under par. That is the best cumulative score in that time period. 18 shots better than Jason Day and Jimmy Walker.
Could have let her borrow your Gore-Tex, T-Lou.
I got plenty.
Maybe next time. All right, buddy. After 5 wins a couple of seasons ago compared to just 2 the last time around, Jordan Spieth is looking to get back to his dominating ways. Here's what he's done so far this season on the PGA Tour. Tied 3rd in the SBS Tournament of Champions, solo 3rd in Sony, and T9 last week at the Waste Management Phoenix Open. And this was today, just moments ago, actually, Trip him out there working on putting, but it doesn't seem like the putter has been what's let him down so far, although look, he's had some really nice performances.
Well, actually, the putter did let him down at Sony. He was 53rd in putting and finished 3rd in the tournament. The thing that let him down last year was his irons. His irons were very inconsistent. He started off the year fantastically at the Tournament of Champions, and he won that tournament by 8 shots. And then, of course, he did win again at Colonial, but the iron shots were quite inconsistent. Look, the start of this year, it has been fantastic. He paid attention to those stats that he was deficient in, because the putter was fantastic last year, actually better than the 2015 part of the season that he had such a great year. There you can see the difference. I mean, this says it all. He's hitting 81% of his greens in regulation. That's amazing. And you can, the huge jump. If he gets to the greens as well as he putts, yeah, it was an anomaly at Sony that he didn't putt all that well. But again, this speaks to the consistency of the irons. We said that he did not have his iron game for all 4 rounds except for 1 tournament last year, and that was the Tournament of Champions. But Jordan Spieth has played well here in the past. I think that 2017 is going to be a great year for Jordan Spieth. I think he's going to contend in all the major championships. He's going to have some really chances to win a couple of them, and Jordan Spieth's back where I want to see him going into 2017.
Yeah, and you keep talking about he's gone back to some of those old moves. Maybe doesn't look as great on paper, but it works for him time and time again. Back over to you, Todd.
And there is Phil Mickelson, of course, in the field. He's closer to 50 than 40. Had sports hernia surgery twice during the offseason, but he's playing a lot of golf. This is his 4th consecutive PGA Tour event in as many weeks. He made the cut in his previous 3. And oh yeah, he's a 4-time winner at Pebble Beach. And with that, we welcome in our friend Matt Adams, of course, a regular contributor to Golf Central, and you can also hear him on Fairways of Life. He's a people person. You play 3 rounds with amateurs, and maybe that's contributed to his success at Pebble Beach. What's your take on Phil right now?
I think Phil is an emotional player, and when he's emotionally engaged, where he's playing now at 46 years old, he tends to play very, very well. When you look at the history of Phil Mickelson at this tournament, 4 times a winner. When this tournament was started back in 1937, in 47 after the war, it moved up the coast to California. He's got a long family history here as well. His grandfather actually caddied at Pebble Beach almost a century ago. And when you think about Phil, you have to think about back in 2012, the last time that he won those 4 wins. He was paired alongside of Tiger Woods, and in that final round, he shoots a 64. Tiger shoots a 75. He bettered Tiger by 11 shots. He had a close call last year. This is a magical place for Phil Mickelson, and when you take the celebrities, the titans of business, the great sports stars, and the best golfers in the world and put them all together, Phil's a leading man, so it's a perfect venue for him.
And he also said that he is swinging well right now. He's got his golf swing on plane, so Phil might be a pretty good bet here this week. Matt, we'll hear more from him, by the way, in regards to the business world of golf in just a few moments. Lisa?
We are just getting going tonight on Golf Central. Still ahead, a look back at some of the greatest major moments at Pebble Beach over the years. And as you would expect, Tiger Woods is in the mix more than once. Also ahead, John Feinstein and Jeff Shackelford go head-to-head in alternate shot. Tonight's big debate is all about one of the greatest of all time. That man right there, Phil Mickelson. Plus, the best on the European Tour are in the kitchen. Find out what they have cooking later on Golf Central.
Golf Central is brought to you by the new Vokey Design SM6 wedges. Progressive design, precision performance. Grip confidence. Grip golf pride.